Command codes verified. Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
Hello, captains, and of course, I'm on the wrong screen. Hello, captains, and welcome to the live broadcast recording of a special event that we're having here this Saturday. We have a very special guest with us, someone who you may or may not recognize because they were behind a lot of makeup in Discovery. But if you're a gamer in Star Trek Online, you certainly know Noah Averbach-Katz.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? Excited to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for being here.
I'm so
my
glad.
pleasure.
I'm so glad that we were able to catch up at the New Jersey Sci-Fi Convention.
Yes, that was a good convention. It was very sweet. I had a great time there.
Yeah, was that? Oh, you know what? I almost forgot. I gotta hit record. Was that your first convention?
No, that was my third convention. My first convention was Vegas. So that was like I really got thrown in on the deep end.
Yeah.
for Vegas. And then we did Dragon Con, which obviously isn't a Star Trek convention, but had a great Star Trek friends there, which was awesome. And then that was my third. And then in a week or two, I'll be heading out to London for my first international convention, which I'm very excited about.
Nice.
Ooh.
Destination London, right?
Destination London. Absolutely. I'm super pumped. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been seeing that they've been announcing their guests, and I saw that you were listed there. You said it's your first international convention. What are you excited to do while you're there?
Well, I actually feel like a third of the people who I interact with on stream or on the internet or whatever are international and like UK based. So like there's a ton of people who I'm really excited to meet in person out there, people who have sent me all sorts of goodies over the times. So I'm just super excited. And Mary and I are also going to leave a little early and have a little European vacation. So there's that as well.
Oh, fun.
I've never actually been to Europe before, so this is my first time. So I'm very excited.
Oh, very nice. Well, I'm excited for you. That sounds like an awesome little adventure.
Yes, definitely.
Now, all right. So let me ask you this: now that you've been, you mentioned a little bit about engaging with fans internationally. You've been thrust into this, right? As a new actor in Star Trek.
Thrust. Yeah, right. Like I didn't insert myself completely. Yeah, somebody's behind me pushing me forward. Yeah, totally.
But tell us a little bit about that. Being now, first you were a fan in the community, right?
Yes.
First
Well, even my mom is yelling. I was yelling at me in the chat saying that my first convention was not Star Trek Las Vegas. It was Sacramento, 1998. So sorry, Mom. So yeah, I grew up as a Star Trek fan. Via my mother. She didn't really give me much choice, which was fine. It worked out for me in the end. And yeah, I grew up going to Star Trek conventions. The last convention I went to before I was on the show was Chicago 2012. Got a picture with me and my family and Patrick Stewart. So, it was just like full on fan, there's boxes of Star Trek memorabilia sort of collecting mold at random places in my house. It's out on now it makes a little bit more sense that it's out because a lot of it can be Mary themed or me themed. So it sort of fits with the Mary and me theme of our house anyway. But before it was just like, there would be like, hey, there's an action figure of Data just on the mantle here. So
nice.
Yeah, it's very much like is a Star Trek household, definitely.
I absolutely love that your mom's in the chat, and why don't you just, do me a favor, send her the link. I want to interview her. Thanks, Noah. It's been fun.
I would love for my mom to start doing interviews, but it will be so difficult because they'll all want to talk about, they'll talk about me, and then somebody will be like, well, tell me a little bit about yourself, Rochelle. And she'd be like, this interview's over. I'm done. We're only talking about my son.
Oh, that's awesome.
So,
hey, Noah's mom in the chat. Thanks for joining us.
Indeed, Dan. Thank you for joining us. So, all right. So you were cast in Star Trek Discovery, and now you are no longer, just a fan. You are now canon.
I guess so. It still feels pretty weird. I really don't feel like I'm on the cast side of the table. Really, in my in my head, I definitely feel more of a fan who was allowed to be backstage as opposed to this is what I do. So even technically, I am definitely canon, which is exciting. That's the most exciting part of it is that I am canon. But it still feels like I am a fan who's been allowed behind the curtain a little bit.
Oh, I see.
Which is awesome.
So when you're I want to ask so many questions about all of this, but when you're, you've got the role and you're getting ready, did you rely on any specific Andorian? Did you do any research? Was there a specific inspiration for you?
Yes. The only other Andorian, which would be Shran at the time. Andorians are hot now. Every new show, I think somebody realized we have this is a blank slate, but is super recognizable. So every new show's got an Andorian. But back in my day, in 2020 or 2019, there weren't really any other Andorians besides Shran. But I grew up watching Enterprise. That was the first show that was out that I watched week to week. So I was already pretty familiar, very familiar with the show. And so I just went back and I watched all those Shran episodes and basically tried to hope that his energy would sort of infuse whatever character I was going to play on the show. Because I didn't really know a lot about what was going to happen. I would sort of learn script to script who this guy was and what was going to happen. And yeah, I didn't even know he was an Andorian until I did the first makeup test. So I was a lot of catch up, but thankfully it wasn't like, oh, you're playing a Vulcan, like go do your research. It was like, oh, this is perfect. This is just like, I can really focus in on the sort of one place where all the information is and be ready in time for shooting.
Now, I want to get a little bit, into the actor studio with you. You studied at Juilliard, and
I did, yes.
And now I was listening to your interview with Mission Log, right, John Champion?
Sure.
Log. And I remember you talking a little bit about, walking onto the set, not only the makeup, full makeup, but explosions and whatnot. And I would imagine that even Juilliard doesn't necessarily have a sound stage where you get to practice pyrotechnics. So, as a craftsperson in the art, is it you end up learning as you go? Is that what ends up happening, or do you get any training whatsoever? I mean, I know there's combat, stage combat, some stunt work, but when you're
I would say that Juilliard did absolutely zero to prepare me for something like this. They get 0% of the credit. I'm giving them absolutely nothing. It's like, it's such a different experience from like anything else you've done, because it is just like a brand new acting experience. Like even stuff where you do like mask work, like it's not relevant. You know what I mean? Because you're not like sort of channeling an idea.
Right.
You're trying to figure out how a large, it's closer to puppetry in a way, where you're like trying to figure out how to make this large piece of rubber work on your face. So, in terms of like, and then, you also have to make it match with the character. So, for like a Klingon, it makes more sense to have like big exaggerated expressions and try and manipulate the mask a little bit more. But for someone like Doug playing Saru, or for me, who has like more of an understated character, it's a different challenge, where you have to figure out a way to tell the emotional journey of this character when your face isn't going to reveal the same nuances that an open face, even just having the mouth open like they do in the previous generation of masks or prosthetics, makes a huge difference, because you can do so much with that. So for me, the kind of journey was putting on the mask. Well, it was first reaching out to Kenneth Mitchell, Mary Chieffo, and Doug, and sort of get. I think they're the kind of three masters of Trek masks right now. They're really, really talented at it and really strong performers underneath the mask.
And so this was your first time with that much prosthesis on, right? This was your first gig with that.
Absolutely. And like you wear weird stuff and you put stuff on, but there's just no other job outside of TV that is going to do that, because it's super expensive.
Right.
It just it takes a huge amount of, it's just very labor intensive, from designing to fabricating to painting to application, all that stuff. So yeah, this was my first time doing any kind of mask work. So I kind of got a consensus of what to expect from those three. And then I put on the mask and I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh shit, this is bad news. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
so,
I was like,
what was it about it? Was it that it was stiff? Like you could not move the muscles? Like what was it?
Right. Well, you really have to think of that mask not as like a latex layer over your face, but like another face on top of your face. It does not respond to movements of your face. It's not like you're sort of manipulating something from behind. It's like there is a solid piece of rubber on top of your face. So if you want to manipulate it, you're going to have to do an exaggerated motion underneath the mask to make some sort of manipulation on the front,
Right.
which is not necessarily going to line up with, the scene, right? So if you're like sort of surprised, you would then have to do a really big surprise to like manipulate the physical mask.
Mm-hmm.
And also, what I noticed with this mask in particular is that, what was I saying? What I noticed with this mask in particular is that those sort of manipulations, like a really physical manipulation on a character who is a little bit more internal, it really reveals the mask. It makes it look fake. It makes it look like it's bending unnaturally. It like sort of creases in a way that sort of you really start to see that it is unnatural. So I sort of wanted to, once I was sort of playing with it and was like, these big faces that I'm sort of pulling to puppet the mask are making this mask look really fake. So I was like, well, that means I'm just kind of absolutely screwed. So let's just go to set and see what happens. And I got to set, and my first episode, I spent like basically that whole time with David Ajala, who's just a really, really talented actor and a guy who thinks a lot about acting. And he was just like really doing very little. And then I would go watch playback, and it was just like really popping. And he has these really large, expressive eyes. And I thought, well, what if I just like copy David, because he's really good and I kind of like what he's doing. So I tried to tell as much of a story or emotional journey through the character's eyes, because those were the things that I could still kind of manipulate a little bit. I still had like the creases around my eyelids were open, and although I was wearing contacts, like the actual eyes were around, and what I found with that was that actually, because it was such an interesting and textured mask, is that if I just sort of focused on the emotion of the character and telling that story through this little small thing, that the mask had so much personality that as an audience member, you could sort of just project the story of the face onto the face you were seeing. You didn't actually need it to move too much, and then sort of gather the emotion underneath it from these smaller things. So that was sort of how I wound up approaching it as an actor. Just kind of trying to figure out a way to tell that story. That was sort of my approach.
Well, it was an excellent performance. Seriously, I mean, it was you did fantastic, and it was sad to see you go after just 3 episodes.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
We just have to convince Star Trek Online to get you in, and you can voice some.
I'm in.
Voice some.
I'm in. Yeah, somebody with antenna, hopefully.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, you had you been on set before with Mary?
Oh yeah, many times.
So talk to me about that first time. Like, did you sneak onto the set and sit on the bridge while nobody was looking beforehand, or did that come after you were cast and had access to the stage?
No, early on I would take every opportunity to go on set that I could. So I was on set tons of the time. But if you've ever like been on a TV set, it's exciting for like the first 10 minutes and then it's really boring. So like, it's like they'll say like one word and then people will sort of like be moving some equipment and you're just sort of sitting there and you just blah, 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 So once I basically like after 10 minutes of being excited, then I started getting up and walking around. And once I sort of figured out like where I could and couldn't go because the doors were locked, then it was just like free reign. I was just walking around set all the time, going to every set on my own, just sort of poking at stuff, seeing what moves, seeing what was from IKEA, seeing what was like fabricated. And these sets are so big, that you can really walk through the halls of Discovery and like legitimately get lost.
Yeah.
So it actually like took a while for me to even make a mental map of like how to make sure that I didn't take a left turn and just wind up in the shot. So Yeah, with COVID last year, it was like a pretty locked down set, so I didn't get to go to set, which was like one of the many bummers of last year was not getting to hang out on set, because it's just such a fun experience.
Yeah.
And there's some new ones, like Book Set was this amazing wood panel chip, which I was so lucky to get to spend time on. And I haven't really got to spend a huge amount of time on the, I don't remember what they're calling like the space station, like the new Federation space station, essentially. They were like just fabricating that, or if we're finishing fabricating that as I was sort of on set. So I just got to peek in, but maybe next year I'll get to start poking around again.
Yeah. Now, what about the experience working with Jonathan Frakes?
It was awesome. I was very happy that I was wearing a mask so he couldn't see me blush and like sort of be absolutely nervous. I was so nervous. Yeah, exactly. He's just like, he's great, man. He's a really talented director, which I don't think people always like totally realize, and when he's on that set, he just sort of has so much inherent authority, right, in a good way, that people are just so excited to work for him, and he also just has a great energy, so the mood is always amazing. Everybody feels excited and moving forward, and he's also a great actors director. He really knows how to craft a scene, both like shot and scheduling wise, which is really important, that you're not sort of like hung up doing the same thing a million times, but also how to, how to like get the best performance out of his actors, which is super fun. It was just a really, really cool thing to get to work with him on 2 episodes, for getting to be on the show for such a short amount of time. Having that much time with Jonathan Frakes was just like so cool.
It's interesting you mentioned how he's an actor's director, because I was wondering that, right? He had so much experience working in front of the camera for Star Trek, then started developing his directorial chops, and some directors don't know how to work with actors necessarily.
Sure. Yeah.
He when he's on stage at a convention, he's very much the performer.
Yes.
And so behind the scenes, there seems to be clips where he's, fooling around, but is he more kind of no nonsense? Let's focus. Let's get it done.
No, I think he's singing, he's goofing off, he's having a fun time, but I also think like that is what people like so much. You know what I mean? It keeps it light, it keeps it fun, it keeps it happy. And like, I think part of the thing of being an actor's director is having that really light touch and trusting that the actors that you're with are talented and can do the job, and just steering them, as opposed to like really coming down and that, a weird methody, like you're dying, die for your art or whatever. I think he's just really good about directing them in a way that will tell the best story. Without sort of getting in their way to do their jobs. He's just really good at being clear about, here's what I think you should be aiming for in this scene. You're doing an awesome job. We're having fun. Like, get in there and have some fun too.
Yeah. Actually, speaking about that as well, with the character of Rin, were there any moments that, you kind of had a bit of a struggle figuring out how to perform, how to, convey the scene in one way, shape, or form?
I think the only struggles that I had, he was pretty, in a good way, very straightforward. He wasn't sort of like, it was pretty straightforward what he was thinking, what he was doing. So from that direction, it wasn't too much. All the challenges were either, making sure that what was straightforward was straightforwardly conveyed from behind that mask, or was dealing with Gretch, who was not straightforward and was a terror. And to work with. So. Those were my challenges. It was things outside of me, not inside of me.
So it is true, don't work with children or pets on
100%. Yeah, it sucked. It was terrible.
Your joke about Gretch being above you in the casting when you were telling John.
Oh yeah. That definitely, I don't know, maybe part of my whole grudge shtick is jealousy. That's probably true.
Oh man. All right, so why don't we, before we have any more conversations, why don't we do some Star Trek Online, shall we?
Sure.
And actually, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and give away a Tilly Boff.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, you know what I should have brought you? I needed to have planned better. We have the Silly for Tilly shirts.
Oh.
Oh, please send him one. That would be
I know,
amazing.
the next time we bump into each other at a convention, I'll make sure to have a Silly for Tilly shirt.
All right, there we go.
Because one of our other hosts had hashtagged that, and
Amazing.
so we brought it to the first convention at Vegas when Discovery premiered. So we gave Mary one, who I think she passed off to Shazam.
My mom.
Oh,
Probably
wait.
to my mom.
Too?
Yeah, I know my mom has a couple.
Awesome.
Oh, that's
Your
great.
mom sounds so awesome.
All right, so so let me give away a code. I'm going to pick a random person from the chat, and that person's going to be Hyperhydrar.
Yeah, he just joined us.
Congratulations.
Just joined us.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Hyper, send us a direct message on Twitch, please. Or Kat, are you on Twitch? Are you logged in on Twitch right now?
Yeah.
All right, so can I give you
I'm
the
friends
code?
with Hyper in game, so I can and he's in Discord. I'll give him the code after we're done here.
Perfect. All right.
So Hyper, connect with me after this.
All right, so
Way to go, Hyper.
Way
You
to
did
go.
it, man.
All right, so we are currently on Andorra. Do we have a full team? 1, 2, 3,
We do.
4, 5. Cool. All right, excellent. And all right, Kat, we're gonna do the Halloween special.
Awesome.
I am not kitted out for that. I don't have any of those.
I know
badges.
I'm missing my favorite kit module, but I'm sure you guys that are joining us on the team are fully equipped.
I hope so.
I barely know how to play, so yeah, I'm definitely not kitted out for it. I don't even know what that means, so that's
We got
definitely
you.
a problem.
Don't worry.
Wearing gear do we have the right gear on our?
The answer is definitely no.
We gotta get
This
you
guy
set
in
up
the
now. We gotta
green super suit with a giant blaster is definitely ready.
Yeah, there's a million options of things and outfits for this game.
All right, I'm ready. I really want to fight the old ones. I want to smash one of those guys.
Yeah, they don't let you do that. Now, apparently there is a number of cats you can locate in this mission, though I have not located them all.
I've seen some cats. I've definitely seen some cats.
Yeah, you pass by a few, but I think there's some that are in random spots. But again, who has time when you're trying to like kill skeletons and survive?
I
Ooh.
still don't know how to play this mission. Oh, look, I heard a cat. There's a cat.
All right, well, there's a cat right
What do
here.
we do?
All right, I've already
You just
messed
hang
up.
out. Uh-oh, did we lose you?
No, I made it till my main click. I set a big thing you do.
Oh,
big
you have a
pillow.
baul.
Yeah, somebody gave me that, and I really don't know what it does.
Oh, it's amazing. It will kill things,
That's
for
good. All right.
you.
There we go.
So when you get to the room with the skeletons, you can push that again in one of the circles with the
All right,
candles.
I'm gonna do
So
it.
it'll kill those skeletons.
What's the kit that is supposed to kill them all in? Gravity or something?
The one that pulls things.
Yeah.
It's something like, I don't have it on this character, but it's like graviton something.
Graviton something, remember?
I don't know. Does anyone in chat remember the actual name of that?
And you thought we knew anything about this.
I know. I'm like, look, these names are technical and hard to remember.
I'm with you. I get it. All right, I've already fallen behind. I'm so sorry. All right, let me get in there.
That's okay. I just throw knives.
You can throw knives in this game?
Yeah.
Wow.
Kid friendly.
So-
Wow.
There's a mission you play as Ferengi called Quark's Lucky 7.
Oh my
and you
God.
play as Quark and Rom and Nog. It's amazing. And anyway, the reward for that mission is knives that you can
That's
throw.
Incredible.
How far along are you on the story missions?
Oh, that's a great question. I feel like, what was the last thing I did? I just there's a cat. Terrible
There's
cat.
a cat.
What did I do? Oh, I just hung out with not hung out. Went into terrible combat with Denise Crosby for the first time.
Oh, cool.
So probably early on
Yes.
you finished the tutorial, you made your character.
Yes.
I think those first missions will get you to fight Borg.
I haven't fought any Borg yet, but it sounds like maybe somebody has a Borg cube or a Borg circle. I don't know.
It's been ages since I've done. I'm not the kind of player that has a bunch of characters. So
sorry, that would be me.
Yeah. It's not often that I go back in and redo missions.
Yeah, you probably played these missions like 15 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty much where it falls down to. I've been wanting to do another playthrough of them, but I don't want to start a new character. I want to be able to do it with the one that I have.
With your hyper superpower character?
Yeah, that's of course. And I've been bugging them to give me like a chronological release date of all the missions.
Interesting. Can you go back and play old episodes?
Yeah. You can go back, but the way they have it organized is a little odd. It's not necessarily in the order in which you play them as you level up.
Sure.
So it gets a little confusing, and I want to, experience the story again, kind of thing.
Yeah, because it does have a progressive, cohesive story that goes along with it, which is an amazing storyline. It's just so good.
When Mary told you that she was gonna voice for Stowe, were you like, oh man,
I didn't know anything about it when she did it, because she first did it quite a long time ago.
Right.
That was like early, like sometime around the first season. So sort of back then, it wasn't really on my radar in a real way.
Right.
I didn't know if it was like, I had no idea what I was in for. It's funny, because she sort of leads the disco arc. So it's funny to kind of go back and see where that character was season 1 and where she was season 1. It's just really interesting, because everything has changed so much and continues to change as like she, the character grows up and Mary grows up. It's just been really fun to kind of watch it progress.
Yeah, I love playing that tutorial, because you really do feel like, oh man, I get to hang out with Tilly.
Yeah.
At the academy, we're here. Let's have a drink.
Oh, I meant to ask too. Have you watched Prodigy already? Now that it premiered?
I haven't watched Prodigy yet. Everyone seems to really like it though.
Yeah, it's fun.
I really did enjoy it. It's good.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I find it challenging to keep up with basically anything, so I haven't seen it yet, but I'll watch it at some point for sure.
So now you meant, growing up, you said that your mom had taken you to conventions and whatnot. So have you watched every Star Trek under the sun, or do you still have a few things left over to watch?
I definitely haven't seen every episode of every Star Trek. There's definitely some, I feel like now I've definitely. Oh, look at this big thing! Jeez. I definitely have found like some blank spots,
Mm-hmm.
So like some of the older movies I don't really know as well as I think I do and stuff, but I have enough of knowledge to like make sense of just about every kind of like deep cut meme, which I feel like is good enough. You know what I mean? But Mary and I were doing a rewatch of Deep Space Nine, because that was a series that I realized like I actually didn't know as well as I probably should, and it's so good that we got about to season 5 before we started watching Ink Masters instead. But that's been a really, really fun series. And yeah, like I feel like so much of what I watched I was a kid, so like either I just feel like I view it also differently now, and stuff that I thought I knew, I actually like really didn't know as well. Like I feel like so much of Voyager is actually now kind of like a blank spot, even though I've watched a ton of it. So
I feel that way too, because then you'll watch a series and then you're like, you forget all about the other things that happened.
exactly. So I definitely don't know all of it, but I know quite a bit of it, which is good.
So I want to know, so when you were told that you got the part of Rin, like, what was your reaction, your family's reaction? I'm sure you've told this in interviews, and I feel like
Well,
I've
you
heard
know,
it,
it's actually funny because like I don't really remember my reaction for getting the part, and part of it was like the whole audition process happened super fast. I like flew back to New York from Toronto in order to like audition, so it all happened super fast. And then even after I got the part, I really didn't know if like what it was going to be, like if it was going to be like 3 lines or a character, you know. It was still all like very much unclear to me. So I didn't really like get too excited. I didn't want to sort of overhype myself, you know.
Oh man!
But of course, my mom was. That's all right. Which one is this? Is this the? Oh, this is the book one. I suck at this. You have to go do this book. I'm so bad at it.
So you collect the book and you figure out what category of book to put it on the shelf, where it goes. So if you get, Neelix's recipes, you put that in cookbooks.
A tale that strikes terror in the hearts of every Klingon. I think it was the Tribble one.
So spooky stories?
My God, I'm so bad at this.
Cover me, Noah. Cover me.
I did. I dropped it. Come on, you're doing it wrong.
Damn it.
Oh, I just messed up.
Way to go. Which one are you in right now?
I have to do the cauldron.
I don't think I've done the cauldron yet.
Well, it's better. It's better than the spider one because those things freak me out.
The spider is tough.
Yeah.
I don't want to ever do the spider.
You must place that book on the correct shelf.
So, all right, spooky stories.
Go find
Yay.
a potion for every occasion.
Go find a potion for every occasion. All right, where does
An all-time favorite.
a potion for every occasion? Where does that go, Cat?
Alchemy? Did I say alchemy?
Yeah, alchemy.
Back here.
You must place that book on the correct shelf. Go find Levitt's big book of puns.
Levitt? I wonder if that's Ryan. No, yeah, it's Ryan Levitt, isn't it? I wonder if he injected himself in this mission.
Collection of the best.
Which one did I get? Like collection of the best by the True Master. What's that one? I wasn't paying attention to it. Oh, I'm carrying Levitt's Big Book of Puns. So that's puns, right?
There's a pun one. Punny Stories, I believe it's called.
Amazing.
There we go. All right, we got it.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Okay, I got the cauldron sorted.
So
Meet you guys in the other
story
room.
about having to go back to New York from Toronto.
Yes.
Why? Like, were you?
I don't
were you
know.
in
Ask
Toronto?
CBS.
Fair enough.
I was in Toronto with Mary, and casting was at the CBS studios in
Right back in New York.
in New York. Yeah, that was just kind of went where I was told, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, when it comes to an opportunity like that, you're like, I'll go wherever.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely didn't complain about it. I was more than happy.
This reminds me of the Wizard of Oz.
It does, kinda. All right, if you're turned into the cat, don't Stay away.
Don't stay away or stay away.
Do stay away if you get turned into the cat.
That is funny.
I'm a cat. And yesterday was National Cat Day.
There you go.
Aw, it was.
I feel like every day yesterday was National Cat Day.
Were you able to take away any souvenirs?
Souvenirs. I grabbed. So in the first episode, it's like this planet where they have it's like a salvage planet, and some poor prop person spent. I mean, it must have been just like days doing all this prop work. Like they distressed so many. So many comm badges and random little knickknacks. There was like a Guitar Hero guitar in there. It was just like so much random stuff. It was great. It was great. That like nobody ever saw for sure.
A Nintendo 64 controller.
Exactly. It truly felt like it was a salvage planet, but it was salvaging like 1997. It was awesome.
Great.
But I did repatriate like a couple of distressed DS9 era communicators, which live as a magnet on my fridge.
Nice.
Awesome.
Which are very cool.
Oh, I definitely never know what to do, and I have no idea.
For what? This part?
Yeah, I never find that if I phase,
Okay,
I
so
never
they're
find
at the
anything.
top of each of the stairs. There's a device, and then underneath this little bridge here, there's another device. So I just got phased. So you just go to the device and activate it.
Don't phase me, bro.
But see, I have a trialic pattern enhancer, so I'm actually gonna run up here and put it around this other device.
Of course, obviously.
That way you can always see it. If you can come up here and get phased if you want. So if you are phased, you run to the device and deactivate it. While we kill this other guy.
What's your favorite ship in the game so far?
Right now, I haven't had a ton of experience with different ships so far. Right now, I am flying one of the Andorian pilot. Now I forget.
Ooh, those
Well
are
done,
good.
everyone.
Well done, indeed.
All right.
Very nice.
Which one should I take? That's what I want to know.
What's a good reputation to max out first, Nick?
You know, you can get some good stuff from the Discovery rep. That's the
Oh,
new,
there you go.
That's the new
Good
There's
idea.
a really good ground set,
I'm
and
taking
a
it.
lot of the space stuff that you can craft in the reputation system is very good.
Yeah, folks in the yep, just goes the way to go.
Everyone is agreeing.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Oh, I missed the cat up the stairs. See, I always forget to run around after the combat is over to find all the cats.
Gotta find all the cats.
Oh, there's so much you can do in this game.
Noah, I want to ask you a little bit about some of your advocacy work. A few months ago, you were advocating for, raising funds for insulin and, making sure that we can try to continue to lower the cost of insulin. Talk to us a little bit about that, and
Yeah, I work with an organization called T1 International, which essentially works to empower and mobilize individual communities to advocate. So they're not really like a lobbyist group or an advocacy group on whole. They help individuals take action, which I really like. And they also don't take any pharmaceutical money, which has been which is not the case for a lot of type 1 diabetes advocacy organizations, which makes it impossible for them to advocate for lowering insulin crisis because they're insulin prices, because they're taking money from the pharmaceutical companies that want those prices to stay high. So it's been really awesome to get to work with them. And yeah, you know, I've got some things, maybe some like creative endeavors on the horizon. Nothing solid now, but hopefully something soon, which might sort of tie into that or something like that. So it's been great. And, you know, the Star Trek community has really showed up, and we've raised a ton of money for them, especially for just like a really bootstrapped organization that doesn't have a super flush cash flow coming from places where you don't want it. It makes a huge difference for them. So it's just been awesome the way that the community has really showed up for that, and I'm looking forward to more as well.
And if people want to donate and support the cause, where can they go?
If you want to learn more about what T1 International does, you can go to t1international.com. And, you know, if you're sort of interested in participating in another sort of themed fundraiser or raffle or something like that, just keep an eye out on my Twitter or my Twitch, because whenever something comes up, I'll definitely spam you about it and you'll know.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Well, thanks for your work on that. We saw that you were raising funds a few months ago and continue to advocate. So thank you very much.
Yeah. My pleasure.
Absolutely.
So we've got about 15 minutes left. Why don't we do a space TFO this time?
Okay.
Why don't we fly some ships and blow something up?
Great.
Preferences?
What about I don't know. Are you feeling like you want to take on the Borg, Noah?
I know. I'm like, Noah, is there an enemy you want to fight specifically?
Listen, I don't know anything, so it's 100% up to you. I'm basically useless.
I'd say either something Borgy or maybe Starbase 1.
Up to you.
Oh, Starbase. I think Starbase 1.
All right.
We can fight some Klingons.
Yeah.
Great. I love blowing up Klingons. What happened to my camera there? There we go. Much better.
We need to reform.
No. Oh, yeah, we do. Sorry, my
I
bad.
defer to you, Cap.
Let me do this. Yeah.
All right. And we'll do another code. How about we do another code? I will
All right.
do another random.
There we go.
Random drawing. Philly D18.
Phil, very nice.
Way to go.
All right.
Oh, okay. So someone can't queue. Okay. I don't know, because it looks like Noah needs to level his character.
Oh, yes. I'm only level 16, you guys.
Okay.
That's all right. We can come up with something.
I'm not strong.
That might limit our options.
Could be a football.
We can do.
Wait, will you send me that team invite? And I think maybe I clicked the wrong button. If you resend me that team invite,
You're
I
on-
can say I can.
You're on the team.
Play in something that's like of a higher level.
We can do best serve cold, which is a little challenging, but we could do that one. Or
Guys, I'll be right back. Give me one second.
Yeah.
no worries.
Who did I say?
We
just
can do
won?
remain Klingon, or we can do best serve cold.
Either one. Who did I say just won?
What?
Who did I just say won?
Oh, I wasn't even listening. Sorry.
No, you did. You heard. You were like, oh, so and so.
What did I miss?
Crap. Who did I just say won? No, I don't remember.
Don't know.
I think it was Phil.
Oh, Phil. Sorry,
Yeah,
Phil.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I can get with Phil after the show too.
Yeah, I'm gonna. That way I can take care of it now. I'm gonna and not forget. I'm gonna send the code now via Twitch. And then when you're ready,
Yeah, I mean, we could do Well, there's another ground one we can do. We could do Romulan Minefield.
Is that space?
That's a space one. Yeah, that one will work.
All right.
It shouldn't be too bad.
Let's do it.
Okay. Okay, there we go. Did you guys get that?
I sent Phil's just now.
Okay, awesome.
And I
Did
forgot.
I
who
hit
the first
accept or
person was.
decline? I don't know if I pressed the right button or not.
Well, we'll see in just a second.
I did
think
it really
you
fast.
pushed. I think you pushed accept because
Okay,
it looks
good.
like we're
I
cute.
pressed it very fast and was like, oh.
And who was the first winner? Was it Kel MG?
No, it was Hyperhydra.
Hyperhydra. Hyperhydra. And I will whisper that to Hyperhydra.
Oh, user Emerald Chain. I subscribed. Nice.
All right. Thank you. All right, let's
Yeah.
blow some stuff up.
Our intelligence
Hey.
services
All right.
have discovered an imperial.
So we're fighting
Oh,
Romulans.
Nog. All right.
Hey, Nog.
Oh, that was nice to hear his voice. Had you ever been to Vegas before? The Vegas convention before?
No, that was my first time.
Vegas
doing
is a lot.
Vegas. It was definitely a lot. I had a great time, but it was, it was funny because I was like sort of in fan mode and I was constantly like waving at people and coming up to people and at first nobody knew who I was, but then after a panel everybody knew who I was and they were like, and whenever I would talk to anybody they'd be like, go sit at your table, like what are you doing? You're breaking my fiction, leave me alone. It was really funny. It was great. I had just a fantastic time.
Awesome.
I don't even remember playing this. What's
Okay,
The
so-
Romulans have cloaked mines next to the transports. Keep an eye out.
I definitely enjoy the space combat
Yeah.
in this. I find this whole game strangely soothing.
I do too. It's so relaxing. You know,
It
you have a
is
stressful
relaxing.
day. You're like, I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
Shoot
you
some
kind of you know what to expect.
Excellent work against those frigates. There are just a few more to go.
And yeah, it's a very, very relaxing, fun game.
Now we were talking a little bit. Kat had asked you, do you do much other gaming, anything like that? And I figured.
Yeah, I don't do a ton. Obviously, like I have D&D stuff, so that was like sort of my last year of like what my gaming life was.
A lot of
Playing
people.
a lot of D&D.
Yeah, it's a good time to learn if you've got a
Exactly.
group, and it's fun.
Yeah, so I've had a ton of fun doing that, but not a ton of other games. I was saying I've been playing Metroid Dread, which I suck at. I'm so bad at. I'm terrible at like super fast Twitch games. Where you like really have to be on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just awful. But I don't mind like tactical games, grid-based combat games. Those are always fun.
Is Star Trek Online your first MMO?
Yeah, I've definitely never played an MMO before.
Nice, nice.
Oh yeah.
Now was
That's
it
a-
because
adjustment.
the Star Trek franchise, that was your like the I gotta try this out?
Yeah, definitely. When I started like streaming on Twitch, I wanted to sort of just kind of play a bunch of different Star Trek games. Going back to some of the older ones, like the good old games put out, like Elite Forces and stuff like that. And I started with Star Trek Online and then bounced around a little bit and came back to it and just been really enjoying it. So, that's sort of been the main thing that I've been playing, or sort of the mainstay, and then sort of dancing around other Star Trek games as well. So definitely, streaming on Twitch has been like the main reason I got into it, and then playing it on Twitch and having so much help, like learning how to play it, because it is such an insanely difficult game to begin to understand. has been really, really awesome. Yeah.
Did
And I'm
anybody
getting
come up to
absolutely
you
smashed
from
by these.
when you were at the convention? They're like, "Oh, I'm the guy who played with you the other day," and
No, because I don't think I've done a convention as I've been streaming. Maybe I have. I can't remember, but I definitely will meet some people in London who are on stream with me and will come and hang with me for sure.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Yeah, I don't like usually play with too many people on stream. I'm usually sort of running it alone, especially in these earlier missions. But there's definitely a lot of people on stream who I've met or will meet, which I'm really excited about.
Nice. Yeah, it's a big community.
Yeah, even at Star Trek Vegas, there were like booths set up of like fleets.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, wow. So then I sort of like got, oh, there's something going on here. This is a real community. It's interesting.
I tried a few months ago during the pandemic. We were thinking about doing live streams of all the old classic games. Man, they're hard.
They are super hard.
Those
Yeah.
Old games are not easy. I think the first one we did was like Fleet Command.
Fleet Command was basically impossible,
Yes.
and I hated every second of it. And it crashed on me every second. It was so hard. I found that God, Elite Forces has really held up. That's the one that has really held out. People have been sort of saying like you got to do Bridge Commander next. So I think I might try that and we'll see how that goes.
The Volcano will probably try to blockade the orbital processing plant.
So I don't know, it's what is entertaining about it is sort of feels like it's both like some strange blast into the past, and also there's just some really like it's fun to see, these actors having worked on this video game and do funny voice acting and stuff like that. I found it really enjoyable. Kind of check in to see what people are up to, like, in the early 2000s working on some random video game.
Right.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Nicely done.
And I leveled up.
Nice.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, it's fun
Champion.
to level with you have a good team to play with.
All right. Well, Noah, I want to thank you so very much for spending your Saturday afternoon with us to converse about Trek, your life in Trek, and to play Star Trek Online with us. We're really excited to have had you on. Why don't we remind everybody how they can follow you, how they can keep it...
For sure. Well, thank you guys for having me. It's a blast, and it's cool that there are people who are streaming this game who know so much more about me. I always think that's really, really fun to kind of see like, oh my God, this is how you actually play it. So thank you for letting me tag along with you guys. You can come hang out with me on Twitch at the Type 1 Trekkie. We have a lot of fun in there. It's been a really, really great time, and we're sort of building this really fun community and, building up our own little crew, which is great. We've got a little like crew manifest that is slowly building.
Nice.
So come hang out with me there and follow me on Twitter at N_A_K.
Awesome. Well, again, thank
Awesome.
you so very much for joining us this afternoon. We hope you'll come on again sometime and
Hell yeah.
blow some stuff up.
Absolutely.
Anytime.
Thank you so much.
Anytime, you guys. Anytime.
All right, Captains, we will see you on Tuesday for the live recording of episode 530, and we look forward to that. So until then, good night, everybody.
Thanks all.
Good afternoon, too.